Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us for Critical Voices for Critical Issues. I am Minister LeVar Jones. I'm the Minister of Youth and Young Adults here at the New Macedonia Baptist Church on the south side of Washington, D.C., also the site supervisor for our SYEP 2020 virtual experience. And so grateful again for you joining us here today. Want to welcome you. Do me a favor, hit that share button no matter what platform you're watching us on. Hit that share button so that we can get the word out. Our young men have worked extremely hard this summer in a crazy environment, but they've worked extremely hard, and I want to make sure that the world hears their voices loud and clear. We are streaming live this morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So right here on my Facebook Live, and also on our YouTube channel and our Twitter page under New Mass Youth. And so you got friends that are on those, make sure that they check them out. And at this time, I'm going to just ask that you bow wherever you are. We're going to open with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for today. We bless your name for who you are. And we give you praise for being an amazing God. God, I ask now that you bless this time as we share. Our young people have worked extremely hard. They have proven to me that they are really ready to change the world. And so, God, I pray that you're pleased with the work that they put in. And I pray, God, that you give them clarity of speech today, remove the nervousness and the fear, and allow us to celebrate them as a community. Thank you for their families. We thank you for the New Mass family. We thank you for this SYEP program, every host site across the city who is making space and making ways for young people. We thank you for all of the thousands of young people across our city who have been blessed with jobs this summer, and we pray that they are better for it. We thank you for this time we're sharing today together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. So I want to kick off with some inspiration for you. Most of you know that my time before New Mass, I served as the director of teen services at the FBR Branch Boys and Girls Club in Southeast as well. And one of my club alum is an amazing poet by the name of Miss Ayana Holmes. And so we're going to hear from her virtually right now.
My brother was asked in a prompt the other day what he wanted to be when he grew up. I saw the thought in his face, the gears working in his mind to have the greatest answer that ever was. My brother looked at me and said, "You know what, Yanni, I want to be alive." My brother was 11. It's sad that already my brother believed that his life would come to an end well before it even started. No doctor, no football player, no firefighter, just alive. He just wanted to be able to breathe the air that people play with so effortlessly. He definitely didn't want to be the next, "Dang, I just saw him about a week ago" type boy. He just wanted to be alive. At that moment, I saw innocent eyes that have not truly seen the world yet. His head hung below a 90-degree angle. He was not the Shaheem I knew. I told him, "Man, be quiet. You will be. Just take a break from your homework for now." But I wonder if he could decode the Morse code in my voice saying, "Dang, I wonder if you'll be alive too." But we all know that these questions come along too often in our lives. We all know that young Black boys are treated as disappointments well before they are put on pedestals of success. African American men have been taught since the beginning of time to hang. First they hung from noose, now they hang on the streets with the same intentions. Straying fruit, still singing and swinging over crime scenes, wishing today that they did not take their last song. Today, my brother is 17 and still saying he just wants to be alive. Today, he understands more than ever that his skin has been morphed into a weapon. He is 17 and still trying to find the best way to not look like a target. I am 22 and still trying to find the best way to not look like a target. I'm here and I'm trying to figure out how I can tell someone all the greatness that you are, because I just want both of us to be alive too. Shaheem, I can't give you all the lessons to stay alive, but I can tell you this. Never fear the idea of life, because it only means learn, inspire, fight, and excel. Thank you.
My girl, my girl. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, please, for Miss Ayana Holmes, great poet laureate, who's now just recent graduate of the North Carolina Central University down in North Carolina, in Raleigh, North Carolina, and now working her new job and looking at going to master's, studying her master's next. So, Ayana, thank you so much. Please reach out to her. Her Instagram is there, Shade by Sunshine. Want to remind you in the comments, please show some love to our young people, our young men on here this morning. They might have a couple of nerves working around and messing with them a little bit. So please make sure you show them some love in the comments section. Again, share this broadcast. I want to see these numbers go up so that everybody can hear the amazing things that our young people have been working on this summer. So, like most of us who were doing SYEP this summer, we knew that it was going to be in a virtual space. And so that presented some interesting challenges. But like our young people are always so resilient and showcase so much grit and strength, they were responsive in some great ways. And we put together this critical issues series to give space for them to dig into topics that are facing our community. And because we are a people of faith, to look at it from a faith perspective, to look at it from a community perspective. How do we take our faith and our community love and bring that together to make change in our community? And this was, we planned on doing this before we were in the middle of the second pandemic of this racial injustice uprising that we're facing. But these young men have, for the last 6 weeks, have been researching and digging into these amazingly important topics. And I'm excited today that they're going to present not only their research, but they're going to present some solutions. And most importantly, they're going to present some hope to you. And so today, I want to be quiet. I'm going to step out of the way. But to help moderate and guide us through this amazing day, I have a great friend of mine, great friend of the youth ministry of the New Macedonia Baptist Church, Brother Patrick Walker II.
I'm honored to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Do you like that intro? Was that good?
I feel like I still need some justice.
No, man, I'm so glad. Pat has always, since I've been here, and it's been just about a year now that I've been in this role at New Mass.
I'm doing a great job too.
Hey, man, I appreciate the love and support. And when Pat was working here at New Mass, many a day we had conversation on conversation about ministry and New Mass and anything I need to learn about, because when you're the new boy on the block, you got to do everything else. And Pat we always had some really good conversations. Not to mention, he's also a taco aficionado.
Yeah, I'm a connoisseur, if you will. Every Tuesday before the pandemic, of course.
Yes. Veggie tacos. We're gonna rock with the veggie tacos. We're gonna do a little.
Yeah, I have expressed to you my vegetarian journey. Veggie tacos, they're really not that bad, and I actually had one yesterday. So,
what goes in the ultimate veggie taco?
Definitely onions, cilantro, fajita, of course. I put some guacamole in there too. That may not be for everybody's. That might not be everybody's taste.
Well, either way, despite your love of guacamole, I'm glad that you're here. And I'm going to be quiet and get out the way and let you and our young kings rock it out. So again, show some love for Patrick Walker II. Wherever you're streaming from, show some love to Patrick. And it's in your hands, sir.
Of course. Thank you. Morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing all right. Staying safe during the pandemic. And of course, there's other issues going on in the world today with the Black Lives Matter movement and, all this talk about social justice reform. But, I think it's best that we, of course, stay safe, keep your mask on, keep your social distance, and of course, stay educated, which is what we are here to do today. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Ms. Damo to sing the Black National Anthem. Is she here today, though, is the question. Okay, I just got word that we're moving on to the first presenter. The first presenter will be a young brother who is a member of New Mass. He's a junior at Phelps High School in Washington, D.C., where he currently studies architecture. He is 15 years old, and some of his hobbies include baseball, debating, and band. So let's give it up for one of my close friends, Daniel. How you doing, Daniel? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
So you got your headphones on. We can hear you clearly, loud and clear, you know?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not going to hold up your time any longer. I'm just going to let you go ahead and present.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. Good morning, y'all. My name is Daniel Paris, and my project is titled "How Just is the Criminal Justice System?" We see every day, now more than ever, how unjustly, as African Americans, we are profiled and treated differently with law enforcement. African Americans walk with the presumption of guilt on our backs. My three subtopics are the school to prison pipeline, driving while black, and basic rights. Before I start, I would like to thank Mr. LeVar, Mrs. Marcy Mistred, Reverend Goldston, and Mr. Owen Manning for helping me along the way. Now, my first topic, the school to prison pipeline. For many African Americans, school is their first experience of racial injustice. Even if it doesn't seem evident, these statistics bring it to life. Frequent headlines report young children being handcuffed at school for minor outbursts, including a 10-year-old in Florida, an 8-year-old in Kentucky, a 7-year-old in Texas, and a 4-year-old in Virginia. In May of 2016, an African American 8th grader was arrested for stealing a milk from a free lunch program. Children of color disproportionately bear this burden. These children are burdened by a presumption of guilt rooted deep in America's history of racial injustice. Because they are exposed to law enforcement at such a young age, it worsens as they become older. This is one of the main reasons why we are only 13% of America's population, but we account for 35% of the U.S. prison population. These are a few statistics saying in 2014, black students represented 40% of suspensions nationwide. African Americans are 3.8 times likely to be suspended, 2% more likely to be referred to law enforcement. And I didn't know this until a few days ago, but there are over 3,000 children serving life sentences without parole. 70% were black and 14 and younger. My next topic is driving while black. This form of injustice is the most evident because it happens every day and is recorded so the world sees it. This is one of the main tactics law enforcement uses to keep blacks in jail. From 2010 to 2014, Ferguson, Missouri police issued 90,000 citations to the 21,000 residents. Each citation cost citizens hundreds of dollars. Each citation cost citizens hundreds of dollars, and if they couldn't pay, they would be jailed. They would be jailed for petty crimes such as jaywalking or the grass being too high. It's the law enforcement that wants people in jail to do the work for them. That's why they call prison modern day slavery. The sad thing that comes with these traffic stops is sometimes that they lead to death. The fatal police shootings of Walter Scott in South Carolina, Samuel DuBose in Cincinnati, and Philando Castile in suburban Minneapolis. The harsh reality is that us African Americans face is that when we could die depending on which cop decides to pull us over. Here are some statistics that I found. 36% of white drivers are found to carry a contraband, which means a weapon. But still, 32% of black drivers are still searched for potentially having one, not even having one. Blacks are 31% more likely to be pulled over than whites. And like I said before, being pulled over, it can lead us to being beaten or unjustly treated, resulting in death. My final topic here is basic rights. The Fifth Amendment secures the right to a speedy trial. But for many African Americans, we sit in jail for years before our trial. This is a prime example of the presumption of guilt. We are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but the justice system treats us backwards. We'll be put in jail as if we were guilty to begin with. Here are some statistics. 63% of people in U.S. prisons are awaiting trial. And in New York, the average spent time in jail pre-trial is 2 years. So you could be sitting in jail in New York for 2 years, not guilty because you haven't been proven guilty. And we should be innocent until proven guilty, but the system doesn't see it that way. The Constitution states in our First Amendment that we have a right to protest. So why is it that constantly we are punished for exercising that right? Blacks more than others. It is evident that the Constitution is not made for African Americans because we are constantly being beaten for exercising our right. This is 1965 compared to 2020. We see that nothing has changed. Still fighting for equality. The law enforcement is still beating us and tear gassing us. As we can see, the system is not just and hasn't been for hundreds of years. Do we stop there? No. We can't let them feel like they won. There are 5 things we can do. James chapter 2, verse 17 teaches us that faith without works is dead. If you firmly believe something, what you do should support it. Your actions should support what you say. If you believe that criminal injustice is a problem, you shouldn't let it slide under the rug. Do something about it. The first thing that we can do is use our platforms. I know for a fact if you're watching this right now that you have social media. Post something. Use hashtags so it can reach more people. Spread awareness on your issue. It doesn't have to be. No. The second thing you can do is continue the legacy of others. Congressman John Lewis and Reverend C.T. Vivian, they were civil rights activists who we all know recently passed. Just because they died doesn't mean what they did dies too. We cannot stop fighting for justice. We need to take what they did and grow. The third thing we can do is start in our community. Pastor Goldston, leader of Peace Fellowship Church in Washington, D.C., started peace walks in his community to end gun violence. Others can do the same. It doesn't have to be just for violence. It could be anything that's important to you. Start in your community and lay a foundation. The fourth thing you can do is to teach others. When you teach others about an issue, they can help you with that issue and become an activist for it. You shouldn't let others be uninformed because that doesn't help the issue at all. And the last thing we can do is peaceful protest. We cannot be silent. Alexander Hamilton said it best. Those who stand for nothing fall for anything. Thank you.
That was an excellent job. So Daniel, of course, I have to ask you a few questions. Maybe other people have questions as well. So what specific actions have you done to bring about change in the community and on your topic?
Well, I know 8th grade, my school, my class, we started a protest and marched to the Capitol building to end gun violence in schools because, as we know, in Florida in 2018, I believe, they had it was a school shooting. It was a school shooting, and we knew that any school could be next, and we didn't know which is which. So we protested gun violence in our community, and around the world.
That's very excellent. That's very admirable because I myself have actually been to a couple of protests that have been happening recently, and I know that was one of the topics that came up, like safety in schools and things like that. So, do you personally believe that things can change? Because I know you had mentioned John Lewis and other predecessors and ancestors before us that were marching for the same similar issues to reform change, to reform the system that we currently live in now. So do you personally believe in change, and are you hopeful?
Yes, I'm hopeful, and I know change will happen because we as a community, we won't be silent, because as long as things keep happening, it's only going to like make people more aware of the issue that's happening. And when more people become aware of the issue, they start to protest, do things in their community to create change.
That's very excellent answer, very eloquently answered. All right, I'm not going to hold you up any longer.
All
We
right.
appreciate your presentation, and I hope you stay safe, and of course, stay educated and stay blessed.
Yes, sir.
Real quick shout out to everybody that's commenting and everyone that's tuned in. We appreciate your support and taking out time of your day to check in. I see Michelle just commented hello. So our next presenter, I'm going to read you his bio real quick. He is an incoming junior at the Phelps High School in Northeast DC, and he is 16 years old. He plans on becoming a Buckeye, the Ohio State University. And some of his favorite hobbies include spending time and having fun with family and friends, meeting new people, and playing basketball. Another hooper, I see. But I don't know if he can still take me on the court. So I'm going to welcome another special presenter, JJ. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about you?
I'm awesome. I'm not going to hold you
Sorry,
up.
but
What's up?
that Hooper thing.
I mean, well, I retired. I'm not a hooper anymore, but I can still get out there. Don't think I'm like too rusty now.
No, I ain't. Come on.
All right, I'm not gonna hold you up anymore. Go ahead and present.
Got you. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared Joshua. But a lot of people just call me by my nickname, JJ. And my title of my presentation will be called "What Will Our World Look Like Without Gun Violence?" So, before I start my presentation, I just want to thank everyone that helped me throughout the process. I want to thank Minister LaVon, all the volunteers that didn't just help me, but also helped Daniel and Jeffrey as well. And lastly, I want to thank my mom. My introduction. For some people who know me, they know that I've been living in the Southeast all my life, and I love my city, but there's a lot of problems here in this PowerPoint. I will talk about the problem of gun violence and solutions I believe we as a city can take. Philadelphia. Before I even talk about DC, I have to also research and see other places around the world while dealing with the same issues, such as in Philadelphia, where they thought just because the coronavirus came up that they were going to see a decline in the gun violence numbers. But clearly, we see that wasn't the case. The 21-year-old Robert Woods, who had a dream of being in law enforcement, was shot and killed even before he even had the opportunity to live his dream. His death makes that a total of 946 people shot in 2020, bringing Philadelphia criminal rate to the highest it's ever been since 2007. My next slide, Chicago. In the previous slide, you guys see me talk about Philadelphia. Now we'll be talking about Chicago. The mayor of Chicago believes there has been a grim spate of gun violence in Chicago in recent weeks, and there has been 140 lives taken away because of it. And research has already showed that during the first half of 2020, there has been more than 300 people killed in Chicago, and that is scary because 2020 is only at its midpoint. It's far from over. And sadly, last DC, sadly, the recent news that really been having a lot of families grieving in DC is when sadly on July 4th we saw Devon McNeil sadly get his life taken away. The 4th of July is usually a holiday where we see kids go outside and have fun with friends and family and watch fireworks. Sadly, on this day, Devon had to lose his life. Children are now having to move cautious because you just never know when something can happen. But as a community, we should all know it doesn't have to be this way. So far this year in DC, there has been 102 people killed in DC, which is a 26% increase from the 81 people who got their lives taken away around this time last year. That's crazy. Now I want to give you guys organizations in DC that's already doing the work. The Trigger Project. This organization's goal is to give us the perspective of the shooter, because although it's hard for certain families to even think about it in that way, at the end of the day, the shooter is the person who goes through things as well. And another organization in DC that's doing the work is Guns Down Friday. This organization goal is to provide resources for families and friends that are victims of community trauma. Now I will give you guys my 3 solutions. My first solution I came up with is for everyone to change their mindset. You can't want something positive to happen, but you have a negative mindset. Everything that you think can happen can and will happen if you actually believe in it. I've seen a lot of people in my life who had all the resources to make their goals come true. The only thing that stopped them from achieving their goal was them. And my first suggestion for everyone who wants to make change is actually believe you can change your mindset. Actually believe in the change. Solution number 2. As you see in these pictures, I have everyone who basically, I have everything that actually like keeps me going in life. Starting with Minister LaVar, he's been there basically my whole life. Second picture is church. And the last picture is basketball. So my solution number 2, my next solution is for adults to really push us and love us while we're young. Because for me personally, I believe another reason why violence is happening. Another reason why violence is happening is because of how certain people was brought up. A lot of kids when they was growing up, all they ever heard was what they couldn't do or achieve. So churches, boys and girls clubs, sports teams, continue to love on the kids you see every day and teach them limited life lessons they will never forget. If no one ever told you adults this, your love and support really matters to us. So thank you. Solution number 3. My last solution I have for everyone in the DMV is to connect with the organizations I said earlier that's already doing the work. We can all come together to not just show our community, but the world. What can happen when people of color come together to bring a change. And for my Bible verse of hope, to end my presentation, I like to provide everyone with a Bible verse. The verse is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and every way. The Lord be with you all. So although the world is going through troubled times, God is still going to find a way to provide everyone with peace. Thank you guys for listening to me. And I just want everybody to spend their time coming on, listen to us, present our presentation for you. That concludes our presentation.
That was great, JJ. That was excellent. So, a lot of people may not know this, but gun violence is a topic that's kind of closer to home than people realize. I am also a Southeast resident too in Ward 7. And, I have friends that kind of on both sides of the spectrum. So my question to you is, how do you think that we as a community can respond to those who may have been like victims of gun violence, like the families and everything, like kind of dealing with the trauma and stress?
So I feel as though like people in the community, like I see a lot of times where like when it's not their family, they don't really be concerned, but until it hits them, and they start getting concerned. So DC, I mean, it's rough, but it's like pretty much like if you really care about an issue and you care about gun violence, if someone else's son that's not yours died, you should be there for them as well. Like my mom would say, if they son died, that's my son too. Just having that mindset. Like I said, if you want change to happen, you got to actually like walk and talk it. You can't just say you're violent, but you're not. So you got to treat everyone's child like they're yours, pretty much, because you just never know what that child is going through or what their family is going through. They might need you during that time, but that's pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know at my age, right, at 21, right, when I was your age, a lot of people that I knew that kind of grew up around here on Alabama Avenue and everything like that, they were saying, it's easier to get a gun than a job. So, a lot of people feel as though that they need to protect themselves because that's just the environment that they live in. So how do you think we should decide who can and who cannot have guns? And since, it is our constitutional right, as the people say. So how do you think we should regulate that? Or if you even believe that everyone should even have guns at all?
I mean, for me personally, like living in Southeast, I've seen a lot, especially at 16. I've seen a lot. Like I've seen probably a lot than more like other kids around the world probably see once it comes to violence. So like from a standpoint, I've been living in the same area basically my whole life. So it was times like I didn't know like what to do with certain things, couldn't go certain places. Sometimes I feel like I couldn't be a kid, But it's just like it's rough because this environment I lived in. So I feel as though guns should be certain people should have guns, especially it depends on like what you need a gun for. Like if you want to support your family, I'm all for that. But there's a lot of people that just out here just shooting just to shoot. Like Devon McNeil, he didn't deserve to get shot that night. He probably wasn't who they were trying to shoot, but people just shooting just to shoot. It hit him. It was just like certain stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's just it's like tough to think about, or like tough to say, because like I'm not a person that actually would give out guns. I only know why that's a thing. I'm not a person that will actually like give it out. But for people that's actually doing it, and you feel as though you really do need to protect your family, I'm for it because like where we live in is rough, especially if you're a person of color. So I've seen the Breonna Taylor thing. Police, she's in her house doing normal stuff, and the police come in and shoot her down. We get no time. Like it's just stuff like that you really gotta think about. And he's still on not getting sent. So it's just crazy. Like when you say who should have guns, I really don't think nobody should have them. But if you feel as though you really need it to stay safe, that's your choice. But it's just like you gotta know what you're doing with it. Because a gun it's a weapon, and like if you're really gonna shoot it, please be ready for the consequence that come with it. Because if you kill someone, you're gonna get life. Like if you're really thinking about hurting someone else that you possibly don't even know, especially if someone of color, it's people of color killing each other. When I say Black Lives Matter, that's a different story. But if you say Black Lives Matter, you gotta care for your brother and sister. You can't just say that when the police are shooting us. When 9 out of 10, we're shooting each other as well. You just gotta think about stuff like that. But it's just a hard topic to think about.
So would you say that you are, well, I have a third question, it's always three. So would you say that you're hopeful for a future where everyone in our communities and other communities could just, have a peaceful environment and don't feel necessarily that they have to respond to violence?
I mean, yeah, I'm hopeful, of course. But it's like, we have to take like a different route, different step. Because we got better from like Martin Luther King, and when they actually changed how it is, because now people can finally go in school with each other. At first they couldn't, so it's just like a progress. It's a process. So we just gotta take steps. But I feel as though it can happen. It just starts like with you now, because you don't know how much time you got on Earth. You please see that like day by day, kids are starting to get shot. Like when I researched a 6-month-old got killed in Chicago, and stuff like that. You just gotta really be there. When you're doing stuff for change, you can't just think about yourself. You gotta think about people that come behind you. That's what MLK and them did. They wasn't thinking about themselves in that time. If that was the case, he would have just cared if his family was able to be free, but he actually cared about everyone else. So just if you really want to do something, just make sure you leave a legacy. Because you never know when it's your time. So you really want to know, like, God really wants to know, what did you do with your time here? Make sure you wasn't selfish and you care for other people. So.
We appreciate it, JJ, and I hope you're staying safe. Keep your mask on, keep your distance, and continue to spread light amongst your community and especially your peers, man.
Gotcha.
Okay, check this out. We are on to one of our final presenters with their topic, and he actually shares a relation with the first person who shared. He's a 17-year-old student, and he's entering his senior year at Phelps High School. He plans on attending college and studying to become a history teacher. Wow, we definitely need more of those. Definitely pay teachers more. And some of his hobbies include listening to music, photography, and reading. So I want everyone to welcome in Jeffrey. Is he on? Do we have him? Jeffrey Paris, where you at? Where you at? Okay, so it seems like we have some more technical difficulties. Oh, okay. So, I just received word again that we're having another guest up. So, he's the Vice President and Ward 8 rep for DC State Board of Education and an at-large City Council candidate. And of course, we here at UMass, we encourage everyone to vote, exercise the right to vote, because so many people have fought for our right to vote. He's an alum of SYEP and the Mayor's Youth Leadership Program. So I wanted everyone to give it up. How you doing?
Patrick, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm awesome. Did you enjoy your introduction?
I did. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
I hope I did you justice.
No. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I appreciate it. I like the brief ones. Those are the best.
So I just really have a question for you. Just one, but you can kind of share your piece on it or whatever. So how why would you say the SYE program is critical? Well, first explain what it is, and then explain why do you think it's so critical, especially in times like this today.
Yeah, so the Marion Barry Summer Youth Employment Program is a summer employment program that was actually founded over 40 years ago in 1979 by our second mayor, Marion Barry, and it was named after him after he passed away in 2014. But has for the last 40 plus years really invested from a city level in making sure that young people across our city are both able to learn and earn over the summer. And we are, for our population, we have one of the largest summer youth employment programs in the country, where most cities are hiring maybe 2,000 or 3,000 young people a summer. We're hiring somewhere around 12,000 or 13,000 young people on a low year every summer. And so that the opportunity for young people like myself, I'm an alum of the program, worked a summer job through SYEP from 2008 until I graduated high school or I guess maybe even after I came back from school. So somewhere around 2012, and just the invaluable experience I got, the opportunity to learn how to function in a workplace while also being able to put some money in my pocket to save for school and for other expenses was just an amazing opportunity.
So what other issues does hunger lead to our communities? You know what I mean? So like, I know that's actually what the next presenter might be talking about, but I know there's concerns of Ward 8 and Ward 7 being such a food desert.
Yeah.
So how do you think that can help solve that issue?
Yeah, well, I think providing our young people with economic opportunity, I don't think we realize sometimes how much that actually fuels the economic opportunity and space for that young person's family. I have, I had tons of peers when I was in SYEP, and I know tons of young people when I was leading a program through SYEP who were taking their paychecks and making sure mom had food on the table for them and their siblings, right? With making sure was pitching in for the bills or for rent. And so talking about economic security, right? SYEP is both an educational program and an economic security program. And the more we provide those opportunities for our young people, the better. Now, when we talk about food deserts, I actually live in one. I'm born and raised in Southeast DC, currently live in Congress Heights. And I'm relatively close to one of the only grocery store we have in Ward 8 for 80,000 residents. But my mom, who lives 5 minutes from me, would have to take 2 buses, right, to get to the grocery store. So talking about how we make it easier for folks to both easier and more affordable to get access to fresh produce than to fast food. Is something that we have to do, because when we talk about the social determinants of health that actually impact lifelong health outcomes for young people and families, food deserts, access to healthcare, all of that matters, right? To the point where the life expectancy for someone who lives across town, for instance, in Colonial Village up in Ward 3, Upper Northwest, is somewhere around 97 years old. The life expectancy in Congress Heights is almost 30 years less than that. So the fact that my neighbors are only expected to live on average until their late 60s, and other people in our city, because of the opportunities and access that they have, can live pretty healthy lives into their 90s, really means that we have a lot of work to do in our city.
Yeah, and I would agree, because, for my family personally, my parents are pescatarian and I'm vegetarian. So obviously,
right.
And we live in
chicken wings, mumbo sauce,
right, yeah, but like all that stuff is right down the street. But a healthy food market, we might have to go up to Northwest, or maybe over there by Capitol Hill and Eastern Market to get some healthy food. So I do appreciate you definitely touching on that subject. So my last question for you is, what is a priority for your campaign?
Yeah, so we've been around the city for 315 days talking to residents in all 8 wards about a couple things. One is that it's time for a new generation of leadership in our city. If John Lewis's passing last week, who was the last living speaker at the 1963 March on Washington, tells us anything, if his passing tells us anything, is that it's really really time for a new generation of leaders to step up in our community and take the baton for those fights that are still left undone, right? Dr. King, John Lewis, they died talking about fair access to housing, talking about economic security for the poor, talking about racial justice and police violence. And all of those issues are now hitting another head in our history. And we need young voices, right? John Lewis was only 23 when he spoke at the March on Washington, 25 when he led the March in Selma. So when we talk about young voices stepping up, that's what we need. And if I'm elected this November, I'd actually, at 27 years old, be the youngest ever member elected to the council. And then I think on top of that, what we're talking about is making a city, creating a city that works for all of us, where all of us have access to truly affordable housing across income levels, where every young person is able to get access to a quality education in their neighborhood, where we're building a moral economy where people both have access to an opportunity for living wage and family sustaining work. And then as we think about safe, healthy, secure communities with access to transportation, to grocery stores that aren't a mile away, to hospitals that work, that's the type of deep, meaningful work we've got to do over the next 4 years that will, quite frankly, impact the level of equity and opportunity we have, especially for Black people in this city, for the next 40 years. And so that's the message we're taking across the city. It's a fight I hope to be able to fight come January if I get the opportunity to join the council. But there's going to be tons of work we've got to do right now to help us both build that equity, but quite frankly, also recover from a crisis that is only exacerbated and it has only widened the gaps in our city for Black and brown folks. So I'm looking forward to doing that work.
Oh, I completely agree with everything that you said, from the new generation of voices and everything like that. And I'm so blessed to be at New Master C, that there is a new generation of voices that are educating themselves and spreading the word about what's going on today in society and everything. So we encourage everyone to go vote.
November 3rd.
Right, exactly. I don't know if I'm at liberty to endorse.
Right. Well, I'll say no matter who you vote for, go vote. If you live in DC though, this election is going to be unlike any other we've had before. So for the first time, all DC registered voters will automatically get ballots mailed to them. So you don't have to request a ballot, but you do have to make sure you're registered, and make sure you're registered at the address where you currently live. So make sure you do that quickly, because ballots begin going out in early September, and everybody should have their ballot for October 1st. So election day will literally be every day for a month. So we're looking forward to that, but we want to make sure everybody's ready to vote before ballots begin getting sent out.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time, and thank you for speaking with us.
Absolutely, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. No, stay safe, and hopefully we'll be in contact soon.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right, you heard him, folks. Make sure you register, make sure you vote. It's very important. Elections coming up. Pay attention to your local elections as well. So last presenter, I'm gonna read his bio one more time, and hopefully we can just get right into it. A 17-year-old who's entering his senior year at Phelps High School. He plans on attending college and studying to become a history teacher. We need more teachers. Pay our teachers more. Some of his hobbies include listening to music, photography, and reading. So without further ado, give it up for Jeffrey. Is he here? Is he here? Is he here? Hey. Jeffrey, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. You've been staying safe?
Yes.
All right, I'm not gonna take up your time. Go ahead and present.
Okay. Okay. So my topic this morning is food insecurity. Food insecurity can be defined as the disruption of food intake or eating patterns because of lack of money or resources. Data from 2018 shows that 11% of households in the United States have low food security. In these areas with low food security are generally food deserts. Food deserts are areas that have limited access to affordable and nutritious food compared to wealthier areas in cities. Food deserts can usually be found in poor areas and cities, and they're a result of the redlining in the early 20th century. Here I have a map of Atlanta. The outlined part in red is a part that was redlined when that was still legal. And you can see those yellow dots are supermarkets, and you can see that they are not very common in the red line community, which is generally where black people are living in. And you see an abundance of convenience stores compared to other parts of the city where you have more supermarkets. The food deserts can lead to health problems in these communities, such as obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and other things that affect the Black community at a disproportionate rate. And the lack of fresh and affordable foods just contribute to these problems more, making the overall health of the community worse. Where it hits close to home is in DC. On the left side, I have a map of the city where it shows the average income per the areas in DC. So you see in the southeast, the lowest income equality income in the whole city. And the map on the right, each dot on that map represents a grocery store in those neighborhoods. And you see wards 7 and 8. There are only 3 stores between that whole strip. So in Ward 7 and 8, there is one grocery store for about 70,000 people to share, compared to in the rest of the city, in the wealthier parts of the city, where there are about one store per 11,000 people. And some possible solutions include farmers markets, in communities that have been neglected by large corporations. Farmers markets allow for people to have easier access to healthier food options, and also more affordable, bringing jobs from local farmers and bringing those into the community, creating bringing more healthier food into the community directly. The next solution is bringing farms into those communities. Adding farms, you bridge the gap between the people and the food by making them connected directly. This brings in, it helps the communities have more control over what they eat, and overall making them healthier. And the last one is education. By educating the people in these underserved communities, we can start reversing the health issues that affect the communities. And that's it.
Oh, that was excellent. I know I know that me and Marcus kind of touched on that subject already.
Mm-hmm.
And I know at NUMass we have a grab bag program. So how do you think that has helped impact the situation that we just spoke on?
It helps because for people who might not know where they might not get the next meal from, it helps them by allowing them not to have to rely on, fast food. They have food to prepare for a meal that is better for their overall health in the long run, instead of relying on the cheap foods in the area.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just so grateful, that they do things like that, because
Mm-hmm.
It's such an important thing to emphasize healthy eating and access for food for everybody involved. So what do you think that being hungry can lead people in the community to do? How do you think people would respond to not being able to eat? What do you
So there is shown to that, when you are hungry as a child,
Mm-hmm.
you in some cases you don't develop the same way growing up. You pay less attention in school. You're not as likely to succeed in school,
Mm-hmm.
which also leads farther into life. If you don't do good in school, you're more likely to be stuck in that cycle of poverty and being reliant on those fast foods that you were relying on when you were before. And so by breaking this cycle, it can help everybody in the long run by just, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And so, so what? There's always three. What do you think? Do you think that there is? Do you have hopefulness that this food scarcity issue can be solved and figured out? Do you think that like all the protesting and calling in to Congress and everything? Do you think that this situation can be changed anytime soon? Do you have hope for a future generation?
I have hope for future generations because we are now at a time in the world where we're starting to reverse the effects of discrimination against Black people. So we can. This is just one of many things that we need to start working on. So by teaching people how to eat right, by teaching them how to grow their own food, without having to rely on large corporations to bring their stores in so we can afford the food. We just have it in our communities for ourselves.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, glad that you presented. That's definitely some things that we all needed to hear. And I hope that everyone, is encouraged to do some more research on this topic because it's really, it should really be talked about and discussed more. So we appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
All of us are here now.
we have a very special guest joining us also.
Wonder who it could be. Oh, look what we got here. The old man is
here. Yeah.
How you doing, Pastor?
Listen, I'm doing great. You guys have done an extraordinary job. I am proud of all of you. This has been an engaging and enlightening conversation, and I want to thank Minister LeVar for pulling it together. I'm excited to really spread the word. Hopefully, others in our congregation who are, at work and perhaps don't have an opportunity, but certainly I'm going to challenge them to check it out, to check out the replay because you did an excellent job. Very proud of all of you, and of course our handsome son did a great job. And surprise MC and all that kind of stuff. But you guys just did a great job. Proud of you. Really, I really am. Thank you again, Minister LeVar, for making allowing the voices of our young people to be heard, not only within the context of our church, but across platforms, the city, engaging guests. We are excited about the things that we've heard and empowering our young people and engaging our young people to make visible and viable change, not only for our city, but for the kingdom, for the causes of Christ. Our voices need to be heard. Our voices need to be heard. We should be shaping the conversation as believers. And I'm so very proud of each of you. And thank you guys for taking time and making time to have this conversation. And I'm excited others in our congregation and our community will hear from you.
We appreciate it. Thank you again for checking in on us and letting us know that we did a great job. They did do an excellent job. I'm very proud as well. And that just goes back to the leadership of the pastor at the Macedonia Baptist Church.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you,
good thing, of course, was able to catch it because it rained today. So, hey,
Yeah, you ain't swinging your clubs today. Right?
So it's divine. It's divine. Divine providence. Divine providence.
There you go. Well, Pastor Lee, I said with Patrick, I'm coming up on having had the honor of being in this role for just about a year, and the successes that we've experienced have been because you have been the type of pastor to give us the room to do what God has called us to do. So we definitely honor you. I thank you as a member of your team, and as being my pastor. I appreciate that you were my pastor before you were my boss. So I appreciate you for being both. You really helped bring moments like this full circle for all of us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys again. Thumbs up. You're getting great feedback across platforms. We're going to make sure that we send out the replay or the connect so that others who are working or perhaps missed across our social media platforms, so they can hear the conversation and enjoy it as well. Thank everyone for joining us across the platforms. I saw Pastor Jenkins join us all the way from Chicago. So we had great representation today, and we're looking forward to continuing the momentum so that we can impact our community as well as the kingdom. You guys have a great afternoon and be safe.
Thanks, Pastor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Patrick, you should get some love from Pastor Parent Rogers.
I do. Shout out to Parent. You know, that's the big bro. That's the big bro. Yeah. all the other guests too that aren't a part of the membership at New Mass, because we're all in the same family and community. So I appreciate everyone who tuned in and joined.
So, gentlemen, how did you completed it? It's done. It's finished. How you feel?
You look at JJ.
Now, but what was this experience like for you this summer?
I liked it. You got to learn more about a topic that was important to you, and you got to do research, and now you know more. The more you know, the better.
Jeffrey, JJ? They just happy that they're done.
Exactly. The hard work paid off. So
right. Well, listen, I won't hold you guys. I know the level of work that you put in, and we can tell by the level of presentation that you brought today. So again, you've seen all the love that's been popping up on the screen. Extremely proud of each of you. Thankful for each of you. We're going to celebrate safely. We're going to celebrate the end of this and plan for some things for the future. So I want all of you all that joined us today live, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Voices again. We're gonna revisit these topics again. I do want to do some thank yous to, of course, to our MC today, Patrick Walker II, who did an amazing job. Appreciate
the love.
Special shout out to Ayana Holmes, our poet for the day, for sharing her gift, and definitely want to thank a few of some of our guests who came through during our Zoom sessions this summer. Pastor Ramon Jackson from the Well Church, Pastor Delonte Golston from Peace Fellowship Church and Peace Walks, DC, Miss Tia Bell from 4 Youth and the Trigger Project, Miss Dana Hall from Aya Inc., Miss Tatiana Rawlings, marketing extraordinaire, Miss Marcy Mestret from the Campaign for Youth Justice, Miss Mercedes Diane Griffin Forbes from DG Speaks, Mr. Owen Manning, Mr. Tamir Harper, and Mr. Jadair Basu, who were all college students from the area who share with our young men today. I want to thank, and I think the young men said it, but I want to thank two very important women, two Black women.
Absolutely.
If it had not been for them, there would be no presentation today. And Miss Sandra Craig, JJ's mom, and Mrs. Carmen Jenkins Fraser, Daniel and Jeffrey's mom. Thank you all for being so great. While I'm thanking them, I got to thank my mama, who was watching, Mama Linda Risby Jones.
Mama!
And we thank Pastor Walker. We thank First Lady Priscilla, who was on, sharing with us as well. The entire leadership and staff and members of the New Macedonia Church, we appreciate you all so much. Like I said, listen out for more critical voices this year. We'll bring these young men back because there's still work to be done in each of these areas. And until then, we love you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate everybody for watching and tuning in. And I just want to say, stay educated and stay safe. It's as simple as that. Keep reading, keep researching, keep having conversations. Critical voice for critical issues. We appreciate all the young people that tuned in. Other visiting friends, of course, and Minister LeVar, amazing job, awesome job. We appreciate everything that you do. And we can't say enough thank yous. That's but just we'll try our best with just a simple thank you for now. And of course, when things are over, that gotta grab the taco.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday. Remember to register to vote. Remember to vote And remember,
vote.
engage so that you can be a critical voice too. God bless you guys. We appreciate you for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Stay safe out here.
Yeah.